Have you ever opened your fridge, spotted a yogurt just one day past its date, and tossed it straight into the bin? What if I told you that tiny printed date might be making you throw away good food, costing you money, and contributing to a global waste problem that the United Nations estimates causes nearly $1 trillion in economic losses each year? Imagine this. It's Monday morning, you're making cereal for your kid, and you notice the milk says it expired yesterday. You sigh, pour it down the sink, and add milk to your shopping list. Somewhere a retailer benefits, because you'll be buying sooner than you might have otherwise. Here's what most people don't realize. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, with the exception of infant formula, there is no federal law requiring food date labels in the United States. These dates are generally set by manufacturers as a guide to peak quality based on the product's characteristics, packaging, and storage, not as a safety deadline. But here's the problem. Research from the Harvard Food Law and Policy Clinic and the Natural Resources Defense Council shows over 90% of U.S. consumers misinterpret these labels, believing food is unsafe the moment the date passes. The result? Perfectly edible food is thrown out early, and in the U.S. alone, about 60 million tons of food is discarded every year, with label confusion being one of several contributing factors. Now, does that mean companies deliberately shorten these dates to boost sales? The USDA doesn't say that. There's no conclusive evidence that manufacturers set dates to drive faster purchasing. It's more accurate to say the current system allows for wide discretion, and the lack of standardization creates space for consumer misunderstanding. And while it's tempting to talk about a billion-dollar industry profiting from waste, experts frame it differently. The UN and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency estimate that global food waste leads to roughly $940 billion in losses each year, costs borne by society, not direct profits pocketed by a waste industry. But make no mistake, this confusion benefits the supply chain. Shorter perceived shelf life means faster stock turnover, fresher-looking shelves, and more frequent purchases. And if you think this is just about your grocery bill, consider the environmental cost. The North American Commission for Environmental Cooperation notes that wasting food also wastes the land, water, energy, and labor that went into producing it. Once in a landfill, it rots and produces methane, a greenhouse gas about 25 times more potent than CO2. Of course, safety matters. Fresh meat, seafood, and dairy can become unsafe if stored too long or at the wrong temperature. But for shelf-stable foods, like pasta, canned goods, and snacks, the expiry date almost always refers to quality. FSI's guidance even states that many shelf-stable products remain safe past the sell-by date. They may just lose a little flavor or texture. And about that often repeated claim that people can't taste the difference between a fresh snack and one 3 months past its date? There's no authoritative study proving that. It's safer to say that for many products, especially dry goods, minor quality changes don't necessarily make them unsafe or even noticeably different to most people. The UK has been taking steps to clarify this confusion. By law, most prepackaged foods there must carry either a best before date for quality or a use by date for safety. Some UK supermarkets, like Morrison's and Waitrose, have even removed use by dates from certain products, encouraging customers to judge freshness with sight and smell, a move aimed at cutting unnecessary waste. So, what can you do to avoid getting caught in the waste cycle? First, understand the labels. Best before is about quality. Use by is about safety. Second, trust your senses. Look, smell, and if it's something that's usually safe to sample, taste a little before you throw it away. Third, store food properly. The right conditions can extend usability well beyond the printed date. Next time you find something just past its date, pause and ask yourself, is this about safety, or is it about a number on a label? Reducing waste isn't just good for your wallet, it's good for the planet. And if you think date labels are the only way packaging influences how quickly you replace products, think again. There's another subtle trick in the design itself that changes how fast you shop. I'll show you in the next video. Once you see it, you'll never look at supermarket shelves the same way again.